Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain to you how to architect your reality. We are really going to touch upon some deep concepts here, so let me just make myself comfortable. And I'm going to assume that you already know manifestation works and that you were able to manifest. So we can dive into something a little bit deeper here. However, if you're still wondering about basic like law of attraction stuff, this may work for you also. So it's just going to be like a more potent way to actually get what you want, get your hands on those cookies. So here we go. So first of all, properties of consciousness, as I've shared in my previous video, are that consciousness, you are basically consciousness. Consciousness is not defined by anything. It is the first thing. What comes as the world and a million things in shapes and forms comes after, as a condensation of space and energy. But consciousness itself can expand as space and can also vibrate in that space as energy. So this is your Holy Trinity. The being, which I'm not sure if that's the Holy Spirit. Maybe I'm like, I don't know the Holy Spirit nomenclature, what they meant there, because I wasn't there in that conversation. But yeah, there are these three basic things. They're also called the Tao. And the Tao basically is the I am, the self, and the yin and yang. And so the yin would be space and yang would be energy. But they're the same. Actually, these all three things, they can be collapsed to this one thing that is, you can just call it the Tao, or you can just call it you without any shape, form, or volume. So in every possible reality construct, guys, I don't know, like I have these not dreams, they're not dreams, that's where I'm asleep and I'm not in my body. I'm consciousness that's not immersed into this shape and form, into this body. So I go places. And, you know, some people do astral projection where your body still is akin to this body, but it's just made of thought forms, vibrating thought forms, and you can go into realities where you can look like this and you can fly and telepathically talk to other people, basically. But what I do is sometimes this, but most of the times I go in very different locations where I am consciousness, and then I can flow into different shapes and forms, which sometimes are other type of bodies, and sometimes I'm just configuring realities. Configuring realities would be like using the yin and yang, the baseline architecture of reality, to really with your will. So it looks like this, like it's like it's black there, and then I can make a spiral, and then it's created inside of this mental screen, and then I can go into the spiral and I can program it and make it a body that has also, like, it can talk, for example, and then it starts bouncing, right? And then I get out of it, and then the spiral still bounces, and I create another one. So it's like creating video games or something like this. And I mean, this is what you are. You're just conscious, but right now you're experiencing a reality construct or one of these video games where you identify that you're human based on every time you wake up and you are you immerse yourself into this body, into this nervous system. The stream of information here is mostly you processing your memories of this reality. And there is then like a storyline and a personal continuity. So this is a very immersive, very intricate, very detailed experience. However, I'm saying baseline of this thing is that you're this conscious that actually creates realities. So when you're sleeping, if you go into this empty screen of reality and you're just conscious there's nothing to remember there. So people call this enlightenment or something, because we don't remember when we are awake here in this reality, what's on the other side. And then we believe we are born and we die, but this is our bodies that are born and they die. The body is created, and then at some point you may not want to do this game anymore, and then this reality construct just recycles your body, but you were there before you were born into this body, and outside of this reality construct you are always consciousness. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And now I'm going to tell you that manifestation, you will imagine an experience, and then basically your mind, your narrative is conditioned with your previous data, and your mind is trying to work out the story, so it's trying to continue from where what you know is real or what you have experienced before. And this is why our ego is oftentimes like, no way, that's not possible, I can't manifest, this is not true. However, it is not the ego that is manifesting, it is not the person that is manifesting, it is the consciousness. And when you train to visualize, you going into these deeper wavelengths of your mind, it's like you're going into dream escape. You're going into some deeper level where you are creating reality. But now I'm going to tell you how you can program this into your life. So simply by knowing this, you will connect to this portal, okay, and then you can use it. So I'm giving you a sort of like a secret, because not a lot of people know this. What am I talking about? So actually inside of this reality construct and your internal architecture of this body has all the components that create the larger reality set, which is called the universe. So how to explain this? Let's just say we are built from, so if you ever heard of Kabbalah or chakras, this kind of stuff, spiritual stuff, metaphysical stuff, this is actually just a teaching that your interior landscape of your human body here is created from 12 planets, and they're actually oscillating spheres or chakras. So the 12 planets or 12 chakras, in Kabbalah, these are called sephira or spheres, and they're like vibrating spheres that configure up this reality. But the fun thing here is that this vibrating spheres is an algorithm that configures the whole entire reality. So already within a larger reality, which you can perceive as the external world, it's a holographic projection that these 12 spheres are creating. Okay, and then inside of yourself, you are a construct that is also built by the same algorithm. So once you know how to work with the planets, you can create realities. And even from yourself, you can spawn a universe. Okay, this is some kind of yoga. You have to work with these spheres that are inside of you, these chakras, and you can actually project another universe, because universe is like, when we are inside of it, we see like the time and the space and like the infinite matter and energy and vacuum, and we think of it, oh my days, this is like a huge thing that we're inside of, but it's actually generative. It's generative in a sense that you can like create this algorithm and say iterate, generate, and it just repeats itself and iterates itself with like So let's say I create an algorithm, I put a random number generator in it, so every time it iterates, it repeats itself, it goes into another formation from the same baseline numbers. So I'm just like shuffling the numbers and then I'm copy pasting. And then I get infinite creation. This is how God creates. I mean, you, the consciousness, when you create something smart, you make it generative because you don't need to build everything bit by bit by bit, but you can press a button and then like get the whole entire universe created. So in this way, I know it sounds to like the ego, the human ego, it sounds like crazy. Like, how can I create a universe? I'm just like a human within a universe. But actually, if you go on this deeper level of your energy architecture and you're working with these archetypal spheres that co-create everything, you could be just creating whatever you want up to an entire new universe. So that's crazy. And how I know that is because it happened to me and I didn't expect it. I didn't know anything about it. And then I went into the archetypal activation, which is called, so when you work with these oscillators, you kind of start to like, they start to work with your configuration, and it looks like yoga. It's called Kriya Yoga, but it comes from like what's a deeper level. These chakras are deeper than even your autonomous nervous system. So when your body does something automatically, it's being activated by these archetypal spheres. And now they have some oscillation, they're vibrating, they're creating energy momentum, and you would surrender into that level of experiencing, so you're not working it from your mind, like I'm going to manifest the universe. It doesn't have anything to do with the ego. But then when this sequence of like vibration completes itself, you birth a universe. And even that is so crazy to explain that I'm just now going away from the topic of this video, but interesting to mention. And I would probably need to write a whole book about it, because even for me, it's really hard to actually make that into a story. Because here, what we're doing in this universe, we are creating stories. And archetypal spheres also create your natal chart, your hero journey, your destiny, and everything that you are experiencing about your character, about your temperament. So it's all made of these 12 vibrating spheres. And they just create different patterns. Many, 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 many different patterns. So each even individual that is born is assigned a unique pattern based on the variation of these 12 algorithmic bodies or spheres of, yeah. Well, I'll have to cover that and maybe write a book about it to really go into depth with it. But now I'm just relaying this to you for you to understand that if you are here and if you had a spiritual awakening, you are that powerful. It's actually all embedded into you. So the little human console, the human body, the human chakra console, and the human body is God mind. Like, it is the architectural computer that also creates the entire reality that you're now immersed into. Because as within, so without. So reality being holographic, it's not actually that that something is way over there. We have planes and we have dimensions, and you can go floors and you can travel in a linear way. But inside of you, it is the same algorithm that is in the micro and in the macro. So if you use that, you need to know whatever you want to manifest is already within you. And you just need to first look for that inside of you. So now I want to say, I want to give you this tool or access to this portal where you can create timelines for your human experience with omnipotence, that to a degree that whatever you want, you can have that experience. Okay, whatever you want, like winning the lottery, the biggest jackpot in the world, you can have that experience. Something that to your ego sounds not probable, unreasonable, And you will see how this works because you will not be asking your ego for permission. Now, as I said, this reality is intricate and complex. Even if you know that you have this amazing chakra system that is the God mind that can create realities and blah, 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 blah. When you are meditating or you're researching consciousness in ways how you can create magic or program reality or create reality architecture, or you know, there is still infinite stuff that you even in like 1,000 lifetimes you couldn't master. So this reality, the construct, the earth plane, being human, like even when you learn to manifest, you're still a baby because through just meditation, you could spend 1,000 years and there be infinite portals where you can get into infinite different scenarios. So everybody has their own magic because like there could be people with superpowers and there could be like a million people with different superpowers. And I can not do what you can do and you can't do what I do. And then like there's 99,900 1999 as I don't know people that can do some unique thing. And this is just basically how you connect the dots, what doors you open. And they're infinite doors, or about too many to actually just know everything. So I'm going to point you to one door. And in this door, you can go to sleep. You can go through this door and you will be consciousness that can create a timeline. So imagine this. I'm going to give you this as an example. Let's say I'm going to use Brad Pitt. I like him. And Angelina Jolie. I don't know if they're still married or what. They have this movie, and in this movie, I'm going to watch that movie maybe tonight. I had never seen it because it's a little bit, I would say, probably cheesy. But they're called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And they are assassins. And now they get a job to take the other one out. But they're also a couple. And they're married. So in this movie, now they're trying to kill each other. And probably they're also getting down or something. I don't know. But now I'm just using this as an analogy. So look, in private life, they're also married, but aside from that, this could be like another actress that's not actually married to Brad Pitt. It could be whoever had a role in a different movie with Brad Pitt co-starring. So in private life, you have Brad Pitt. And now he becomes Mr. Smith. And you have Angelina Jolie, and she goes and she becomes Mrs. Smith. For them to go into this reality construct and to play these characters, I'm not sure like where that was, like Paramount Studios or Columbia or Sony. It could be one of these production houses that produce this reality. Okay, somebody comes with probably several $1 million and they create the whole environment and they create the scenographies and they create the dialogues and they create this whole thing. So these are, let's just say, I don't have the phone right here. I would want to Google just to be precise if this was Miramax or Paramount, but one of these studios, right? And so outside of that reality, Brad Pitt is not trying to kill Angelina Jolie. They're just people that live in Hollywood, California, maybe. I don't know where they live. So how does this work? Well, in this right now here, you are Mary or Tom, or I'm Alex, or maybe I'm Jovan, or I'm maybe Mr. Smith. Anyway, I'm playing a character. I'm consciousness playing a character. And somebody is producing this reality. it's like somewhere, like above my ceiling of this apartment, is something that I don't see. It's metaphysical. But there is a Miramax, a Paramount, or whatever you want to call it, Godmind Studios, that's actually creating this. So yeah, I'm saying, oh, this whole thing, it's like Jim Carrey in that movie where he is an actor in this weird world where everybody is actually producing his reality. What is it called? Truman Show. So yeah, there's behind the scenes of your life where your timelines are being created, and then you're in your reality immersion, and because you always have thoughts and emotion, you're not noticing these metaphysical aspects. Your thoughts and emotions usually really respond to the environment and your experience in the reality. It's called video game immersion. It's very crafty. It's designed in a really cool way so that you can just have fun. However, the paramount is you, but is on a different dimension. Yeah. So now that I told you this, I'm going to tell you also that you can request to go into Timeline Builder. In the Timeline Builder, you will not be as consciousness, you will not experience yourself as consciousness built into this avatar going around doing stuff, but you will actually be the paramount. So you can design sets, the whole scenography. And then you can write the script. And then when you wake up, it's kind of going to nudge you into this happening, and you're going to go there and you're going to say the words, and you're going to be, oh my God, I'm saying the words that I scripted for myself. And then the person over there is saying back to me what I scripted. Okay? Everything's going to play out in the way that so now you are the director, Francis Ford Coppola, and you are devising let's say, Godfather. Was that by Coppola? I think maybe. Sorry if I don't get my movies right, but you're devising what's gonna happen, what's words the Godfather's gonna say, and then what's gonna be their response, and you're making the whole thing up. So let me round this up then. Manifestation, guys. We're talking about this manifestation, and we're saying, yo, manifestation works. You just have to not listen to your ego, whether you believe it or not. You just have to visualize it and then affirm that it is already true. Because in this way, you are in your avatar puppet and you're closing your eyes, you're relaxing. You're going and you're putting that slide, that experience where you're like eating the cookies, or I don't know, you're touching somebody's boobs, or you're licking ice cream, or you're saying like high five and somebody high fives you, and you put that into, you send it into Paramount because the Paramount is on this subtle level. However, when we are also when your brain is doing processing, this is called beta brainwaves. I'm processing reality around me. I see things, I smell things, I feel my body, I want to eat. So when you're beta, when you're processing reality around you, you can't really go into this other area of your mind. So you need to slow down your brain processing of this reality immersion. What's around me? What's around me? What's around me? And then go there in a, kind of feeling sleepy, drowsy, this manifestation teaching you, telling you, get sleepy, and then imagine it, and then watch it happen tomorrow. What I'm telling you also is that before you go to sleep, you can intentionally program where you're going to go and what you're going to do during your dream time. And because we usually, you can start remembering your dreams. You can, get more conscious about what you have been doing while you were sleeping, and you can start to write it down. And all of these exercises are recommended for, you know, being more aware of what's happening on the metaphysical layer, because you are there, you exist right now in all of these layers and subdimensions and unseen metaphysical or spiritual, where the reality is being built, constructed, scripted, even set designs, you can change. And then if you remember how to get access to, let's say, set design, then you can move objects around without your body or whatever. Like, you can just shuffle objects around your apartment in a non-physical way, because you're operating it from the computer. You're not operating as a player inside of the game. You're operating it from the computer that is producing reality. You see what I'm saying? So that's one way that you could, right? And people want to bend the spoon, and then I'm gonna manifest bending the spoon, the willpower. Well, it's really silly, because when you work it from the computer, everything is effortless to you as the person. But you just need to learn how to shut down the person, and person is shut down when you're sleeping. So instead of going into some deep self-hypnosis, self-trance, or learning how to change wavelengths of your brain and go from beta into alpha, delta, theta, whatever you want, which you can learn. I've learned it. It's not actually too hard, but you can just do it when you go to sleep. Now, when you go to sleep, do you remember what you were doing and where you've been? So I'm telling you right now that one of these areas that you could explore, if this sounds fun for you, is the timeline builder. And I told you, in the timeline builder, you will not be Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. You will be creating the whole plot for these characters. Okay? And you will be creating everything that happens. So check this out also. I think this is like a done deal. I think this is already. So the intention would be, hey, I want to see the timeline builder, and I want to learn how to play inside of it and create architecturalized realities. And that's the whole thing. Now, if you want to say this, hey, the I am God or whatever universe, show me this, you have to also know one thing: ask and it is given. So knock and the door shall be open. All of these portals are closed because your subconscious wants to allow you to be touching, feeling, leaking, smelling reality in front of you. This is the only reason anything is hidden from you. So you can focus on what you're doing inside of the body when you're immersed into the body. If you knock, the doors will be open. So I'm telling you this: one door, you knock, you go to sleep, and you will. And then also say, hey, I want to consciously remember what I did. Because there's two options here. You can say, okay, I built a timeline, I don't really remember it, and then I'm surprised. This is your default setting. You're always surprised by life. Why? Because your first person immersion, you don't have control, you don't remember what's going to happen. And even if you on a soul level have predestined yourself with a bunch of events, it's more fun to experience them with, I'm surprised, I didn't expect this, wow, I can't believe what happened. So spoiler alert, if you remember what you presetted into manifestation and it comes, you're going to take it so on a so defaulted level that you're not going to have any emotion or passion or surprise element. However, I'm also sharing with you that reality has a surprise element, because the doors between the timeline builder and your first person actor, you being Brad Pitt in the role of, Brad Pitt would be like your soul in the role of right now Mr. Smith. Yeah. So now Mr. Smith is having no surprise if he remembers that he's actually Brad Pitt in the Paramount Studios. So whether you want to, however you want to configure it, you can use what I told you here, and you can configure it to the level of a surprise or spoiler alert or remembering. It's up to you. So one door, one portal that I've shared with you today. So now I'm going to tell you another thing that's going to be just a little mention of something. I have a mentorship offer, and I just linked my website underneath these videos. Okay. And then, yeah, maybe it's something that you and me can get together and just have fun doing this stuff. And also, like, there's infinite potential to how you create your reality architecture. So it's basically mind-blowingly fun and mind-blowingly priceless. And maybe from all the goodies out there in the supermarkets and shopping malls and coaching offers, like, I don't know who's doing this kind of stuff. It's like super magician stuff, super wizard stuff. I call it the wizard mentorship. And I would love to get somebody. I only work with 2 selected individuals at a time. So I'm just throwing this out there. If like you think this is super fun and you can invest into this, well, I would love to jam with someone else. Okay, now that being said, I'm also going to add that a little bit of tips when you want to co-create a narrative with you playing Mr. Smith, and then you want to have like Angelina playing Mrs. Smith. Now this would be where you require other people specifically to show up. Like you, I don't know, you want to have a spouse and you wanted it to be played by that person. People call this in manifestation community special person. You manifesting your special person. Now, okay, so guys, this is going to be a whole other topic. And if you watch this video up to this point, like you already got the the best of it. And yeah, I'm actually not gonna go into Mr. and Mrs. Smith and how to do this in this video. Sorry for the tease, but I will make another one and explain the dynamics of co-creation, because this is where manifestation actually gets interesting, because from the infinite potential that you have in your individual timeline, now when you want to make it work with other people, it's kind of a little bit tricky. So I'm going to go also into that. Well, I hope you had fun and you learned something from this. My intention was to have fun and to share, and I hope this empowers you. All right, bye.